What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's good to see you today on the Speak Show. I ask you to like, subscribe, click that notification button so when I get information out, you can get information in. But right now, we are concentrating on the offer and compromise. We have gotten more details on it. One of my favorite writers, Andy Medici, over at the he's the senior editor of the Playbook, wrote a great article. We're going to go over that as well with the offer and compromise, which they had spoke to the SBA about, and we got the details with it. Watch out for the spam, scam, and Instagram down below. You know, I'll give you a template of what it will look like. Please go to my son's channel, Jonathan's Playhouse. Like and subscribe to his videos. And if you've got kids that are toddlers or 2-year-olds into like the 10-year-old range, go check his videos out. It would help this channel out as well to be able to bring you more informative information here. Here we go. Into the realm of EIDL, offer and compromise. First thing is first, you will need to file these templates. I'm going to go through this real quick. They're going to be asking for a profit and loss statement. They're going to be asking for a balance sheet of your company. They're going to be asking for your business checking account, your banking account. They're going to be asking for your recent tax returns. They're going to be asking for a business purchase agreement if one was made, and they will be asking for a partnership of dissolution if one was made. Along on top of that, you will of course have to fill out the offer and compromise as well as the 770A form, which, yeah, you'll have to give them all your, basically they're saying, give us full access to all of your banking and information. Give us full access. We're going to need to go in and check some things out on you. So these things are all done and they're all time consuming. So once you go into all of that and your business statements, your bank statements, all these things, finally 3, 2, 1, it hits you, you're still in debt to the SBA, which is where we're trying to inform you on how we're going to get out of there and what we're going to need to do. So we're going to go over this article real quick with Andy Medici from the Playbook. It was written in the Business Journal. Andy Medici, Business Journal, the Small Business Administration has confirmed that it will begin accepting the so-called offer and compromise as one of the last resorts for small businesses that default on their COVID Eidl loans. Previously, the agency has been silent on whether it would accept offers and compromise, which occurs when a borrower offers up some portion of a payment toward a defaulted loan to settle the debt permanently and avoid litigation or future collections efforts. So with that said, I just want to remind you all that instead of paying that loan as the contract and the agreement stated in your SBA EIDL loan, you could pay a portion of it, but you're going to have to go through all of the stuff that I had just mentioned. That's as of now. They haven't forgiven anything yet. Hey, Congress and Senate, would you just forgive this thing? That left many COVID Eidl borrowers who couldn't pay the loans with few options beyond seeking bankruptcy. Offer 1, offer and compromise. Offer 2, bankruptcy. And if you are going to file for offer and compromise, you have to have been defaulted on your loan for, I believe, 6 months, which then, of course, goes to your credit. Just saying. Compromise is one of the last actions that the SBA will consider as part of the collection liquidation process, an SBA spokesperson said. We'll obtain updated financials to evaluate borrowers' ability to repay, as well as the current state of their available assets. A borrower would also need to demonstrate that hardship occurred, making it impossible to continue payments. So they're going to be taking assets. They're going to be looking for your assets as well. So you can throw that into the mix of the bundle of the stuff that they want to take. And the sad thing is right now, ladies and gentlemen, is the government did this to you. Let's keep going. Overall, the SBA approved about 3.9 million loans for $378 billion before the program ended abruptly in May of 2022. The loans carried provisions specifying business owners would need to start making payments 24 months after the proceeds were dispersed, but the SBA added the additional 6-month deferment period for a total of 30 months. That means EIDL loans have started coming due, and business owners who have yet to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic or have since went under had been left with limited options on how to handle the payments and unclear guidance from the SBA. The most prominent option for small business owners who can't make a payment is applying for hardship accommodation plan from the agency. That will reduce the borrower's payment to 10% of their monthly payment for 6 months, after which their regular payment will resume unless they apply for and receive another 6-month extension. So I've went over this a few times. I've showed you in that one video, and I believe a lot of you, most of you have already done it, gotten the 10% EIDL hardship for 6 months. You can reapply for that. And hopefully they might even just end up putting it back up to where you're clicking on that 10% and it's still giving you the option to do that if you're already pre-approved, which I think that would be a smart thing for them to do so that they don't have to go through a million more applications of people wanting it. So just to say, you can get another 6 months, so that make 1 year total of the 10%. So keep that in mind for those of you who need it. Loans under $200,000 can enroll in a hardship accommodation plan through their SBA loan portal. For larger loans, they will need to call the COVID Eidl Servicing Center. For businesses with COVID EIDL loans that are under $200,000, the SBA requires, along with an offer and compromise application. So here we are going now to the offer and compromise that I mentioned in the beginning with the paperwork that you're going to need. For businesses with COVID EIDL loans under $200,000, the SBA requires, along with an offer and compromise application, the most recent profit and loss statements, the most recent balance sheet, and the most recent 3 months history for all business checking accounts, along with its most recent federal tax returns, and any copies of a purchase agreement or dissolution documentation if sold or shut down. Those are the papers that I showed you all in the beginning of the video, which you're going to need. He had just mentioned all of them right there in Q. And all of the other paperwork that's going to need to go with that offer and compromise. But there are still some concerns, said Jason Millison, a former bank vice president and founder of Distressed Loan Advisors who consults with small business owners on their COVID EIDL and other loans. He stressed that while there should be uniform standards to offer and compromise, the various SBA offices around the country often don't use the same standards to evaluate OICs, offer and compromises. Some are much tougher to settle than others, so it remains to be seen how lenient or aggressive they will be with the EIDL offer and compromise. He stressed in the offer and compromise that it is reserved for situations where the borrower can prove to the SBA that they cannot repay the debt over a period of time. The SBA won't settle just to settle. I don't agree 100% with him on that. I think they're going to settle a lot of them just to settle, but I understand what he's saying. Historically, the SBA is resistant to settling if a business is still open and operating. Which leaves us to, you got to shut that down instead. I thought that the Great Reset was a conspiracy theory. Maybe not. It's generally required that the business cease operations and all assets be liquidated prior to considering an offer and compromise, he said. There's a distinction to be made between guarantors who truly can afford to repay their debt and those who can, but it would be a financial setback. Now, here's where bro, doesn't it just make you cringe? They're making you pay for something that they did to you. And that makes a debt given to you to small businesses who would have never even had this debt had they not done this. Had they not done this to you and locked it down and mandated it and all this other stuff. It's just, forgive Eidl loans. Forgive these loans. Do the right thing. Okay, I got to stop. Let's go forward. Okay. The SBA settles when it makes good business sense. So if a borrower has the personal assets to repay the loan, the SBA will expect them to repay the loan. The SBA has made it clear in recent weeks that it would pursue unpaid Eidl loans. The agency has drawn heat from lawmakers for saying it would not collect on Paycheck Protection Program loans under $100,000, and lawmaker had been concerned that it would also not collect on smaller EIDL loans. The SBA has made it clear in recent weeks that it would pursue unpaid EIDL loans. The agency has drawn heat from the lawmakers for saying it would not collect on Paycheck Protection Program loans under $100,000, and lawmakers had been concerned that it would also not collect on smaller EIDL loans. The agency said its PPP collection efforts on other loans have yielded very little and ultimately cost more to try and collect than to just write off the loans. Same thing with Eidl. The SBA has said in statements to the Playbook that the business owners are required to pay back their Eidl loans. It did so again when it reached for comment on this article. All COVID loans must be repaid or borrowers will face negative consequences, a spokesperson said. The SBA refers delinquent loans to the credit bureaus for negative impacts on borrowers' credit scores and places restrictions on future federal assistance. The SBA also said that while loans under $25,000 don't have collateral, it would pursue collateral for unpaid loans that do have collateral. It also said that other methods at its disposal include litigation and wage or tax refund garnishment. The agency has already started charging off loans, which is when the SBA decides they will no longer be able to recover any principal or interest off the loan. So far, the agency has charged off roughly $330 million in COVID EIDL loans through the end of 2022, according to the SBA data. There's a start. Now, can you charge off, say, another $72 billion? This is all after the rush of COVID-19 rescue money in 2021 was meant to prevent collapse of national economy and keep small businesses and people afloat during prolonged periods of government-mandated shutdowns. And while it worked, it also meant the SBA made millions of loans to businesses with few checks and few strings, many which are likely to be saddled with long-term debts. Meanwhile, the SBA district offices are at their lowest staffing level in years, and lawmakers have expressed concerns that the SBA is not properly staffing them. Which means forgive Eidl loans. Come on. I mean, what are you going to do? Go out and spend $72 billion to get $72 billion back? That sounds to me like that's their plan. That's what they're looking to do, and it just doesn't make sense. Forgive these loans. America, get on board with this. Small businesses, get on board with this, please. We're at a very crucial moment now for small businesses, which we see a lot of them going bankrupt. And it's just disheartening when you're driving down the road and you're seeing all these businesses that are out of business. It hurts. And that's not what this was supposed to do, but that is what it is, or was it? Or was it? Who knows? Another conspiracy theory. Let me throw that one out there for you. Okay, but anyway, guys, I want to thank you all for watching. Once again, go to Jonathan's Playhouse if you're still watching. A lot of you checked out by now. Go to Jonathan's Playhouse and check that out, and like and subscribe for this channel to continue moving forward. And I want to say thank you all. We appreciate you all watching. We love you all. We're going to keep on digging deeper. And if you didn't see my last video on the Eidl loan forgiveness, wrong but legal, you should check that out. It was a great video, and it will give you a lot of more information on how things are going down here. I want to thank you all once again for watching. Like, subscribe, click that notification button so when I get information out, you can get information in. And can somebody say, hey, love you guys, and we still want our 10K. God bless.
Yeah.